Hey folks, Troy Dooley here with the MLM Help Desk and the Network Marketing Advocates. We've got a lot of stuff happening, but this right here today is about Robert Dean and Top Gun. As I promised, but it took a little bit longer to get it rendered down and edited, we did an interview with Robert Dean and Top Gun. It took a little over 2 hours. What we're going to be publishing is a breakdown of that call into an hour and a half. Now, we broke it into segments that last 2 minutes to 5 minutes, some of them 15 minutes. You can listen to what you want. I've given it headings to where you can kind of figure out what's going on there. Inside of this, several things come out. Robert explains why he left every company that he's been with, from Noni forward. He'll tell you that he didn't lose any lawsuits with Noni, even though there is documentation that there is a lawsuit that he lost. He does agree that he was in a contract with Limu, but he decided there was an integrity issue, so he broke that agreement and went to Monumentis Energy. Here's where you're going to find my opinion has not changed in this. There's a couple of times when Top Gun and Robert Dean play the race card and feel that myself and others, if Robert wasn't black, that we wouldn't have made a big deal about this. I'll tell you why I made a big deal about it, and it has nothing to do with Robert being black, but just using black as an issue. In studying the African American community inside of direct selling, they are a very loyal community. When they join a company and there's success there, they don't leave. And we have seen success in several cases. If I look at Renee and Mel Turner over at Primerica, Collis and Brittany Temple at Primerica, one of the great leaders over there, Ivan and Sharon Earl, just to name a few. They grew in those companies, became multimillionaires in their companies. Their teams have grown to make solid 5-figure incomes. They don't leave. When I look at FDI and I look at the FDI Nation, #1 $1 million earner over there is Andre Vaughn. He grew in that industry. He didn't leave. His team's not left. When you look at other great leaders at FDI, which is kind of now part of the Longevity family altogether, you got Alonzo Powell. Grew in there, didn't leave. He's still there kicking it up. Changes in the company, they still grow. I think Monique Vaughn, if I'm not mistaken, another top leader over at FDI, earning 6 figures now. Didn't go anywhere. When I look at it, and this is a company run by an Italian of all things. Now he's part of the Longevity family. When I look at one great company here, this is great. Nadine Thompson is a black American female who launched the only African community focused company. I mean, literally, she launched that company to be made up of blacks, not whites. Now, there's some white folks in it, but that's why she launched that company. Based out of Chicago, she's still cranking it out. She's the founder and CEO. See, there's not a race issue here. Lawrence Young has become a very close friend of mine, a former Top Gun member. He recently had to make a move from Singular over to Organo Gold. He didn't break an agreement. He didn't break a deal. He didn't just jump to jump. And that's my concern when I look at Robert and Top Gun. Definitely had an enjoyable conversation with Robert. Think he's a man that definitely has some very good intellect, very good insight. But when you keep saying the reason I left every company, Noni, MonaVie, Evolv, ViSalus, Limu, and now you're at Momentius, and each company that you left, you said there was an integrity issue. When you keep using other people's integrity, you keep trying to shift the light to other people's integrity. And when I look and say, okay, there's at least in some cases where you, as an individual, I'm not talking about Robert Dean, but I'm talking about the situation, broke an agreement. That's a fiduciary responsibility. You cannot enter into an agreement that has stipulations and say, well, because of integrity issues, I'm going to break what I agreed to. That is no logical sense whatsoever. Now, you can go and say, because of this situation, because of some integrity issues, I want to get out of this agreement. I want to find out what we can do to get out of it. You can do that. Matter of fact, Orrin Woodward, Chris Brady, and a lot of their founders at their company Team back several years ago with Amway went through a similar situation. their leadership, their attorneys went to Amway and said, we need to change. You guys have gone in a different direction. We don't agree with the direction you're going. We want to launch our own company and do a personal development deal. We laid out their plans, and Amway said absolutely not, within their rights. After the meeting, sent termination letters to all those leaders, separated out. Eventually, they ended up in court. But everything has been documented. You can see the whole track record there. People tried to work it out. Their attorneys tried to work it out. It didn't work out. They ended up in court. Sometimes they won, sometimes they lost. That's going to happen. But integrity stood pretty true on both sides of the fence for the most part. I mean, you can see this in the court records. Not saying that everybody didn't do it right. I mean, there were some issues, integrity issues, and the way I see it on both sides. But going back to Robert Dean, you just quit. When people do this, this leaves issues. This wasn't a race issue. I don't care if Robert's black or white. I don't care if Top Gun's black or white. I have friends that are black. I have friends that are white. I have friends that are Latinos. I have friends that are females. I have friends that are females and they're black and they're Hispanic and they're white. That's irrelevant. At the end of the day, what we have to look at is inside the network marketing community, there are ethics that we have to abide by. One of the things that Robert brought up is, Troy, you didn't mention that Trey Knight is a bad person, is a scumbag, is a crook or anything like that, and I didn't, and I'm ad-libbing some of his words. See, Trey Knight, who's now a top leader at Limu, left Fortune High Tech Marketing. I praise him in leaving Fortune High Tech Marketing. They've got some major freaking issues over there. He went to ViSalus. Quickly rose in the ranks of ViSalus, was doing very well, and for whatever reason he left ViSalus and went to Limu. No time did I hear that from ViSalus that he broke any agreements, that there was something there that he didn't fulfill. Never did I hear that from Limu that he went over there and that there's some big deal over there and that's why he went. None of that was heard. Was there some type of deal? There could have been. I guarantee you, Gary Racer is a man that will invest in talent in his company without a doubt. But when he does that, he puts you under an agreement, and he expects you to abide by that agreement. Could there have been a deal over at ViSalus with some of the field leaders over there? There's a possibility. Nick has no problem. If he knows that you're a rock-solid person, he'll invest in you. And some of his partners in his business will invest in you. Not at ViSalus corporate, but I'm talking about his field team when he went back out into the field. All companies do that. Do I like deals? Absolutely not. But what I like worse is when a deal goes south and somebody says, well, the reason it went south is because of integrity issues. And you see a track record of what sure looks like integrity issues. That's what hurts us all. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. When you give your word, when you sign a dotted line and say, I'm giving you 5 years, I'm giving you a year, I'm giving you 6 months, I'm going to produce X amount of dollars before I look at another company. That is ethics. That is business. And that is taking care of your team. I have no clue where this is going to end up. I know that there's a very good possibility that there will be lawyers involved and that a lot of Top Gun leaders and Robert Dean will be called onto the carpet. Robert made it very clear that when he went to MonaVie, there was a deal. When he went to Evolv, there was no deal. When he went to ViSalus, there was a deal. Obviously, we've reported on this between him and Nick. When he went to Limu, there was a 5-year deal. Any money that was paid him has to be paid back. He swears that there was no deal with Monumentis Energy and that the chairman of Just Energy doesn't even know that he exists. I have no clue. But we're taking his word for it. In court, something else may come out. We don't know. Listen to the interview. I appreciate the fact, truly appreciate the fact that Robert and his team took time with me. I believe it's good. I still think there's some major issues here. Not everything was portrayed. I think that some of this was scripted because they were very pat answers. But I appreciate the loyalty of this team to their leader, and I appreciate what sounds like true loyalty from the leader to his team. You guys decide. We just want to present both sides fair and balanced. It's up to you to make a decision on whether you go with Robert Dean on his team, whether you stay with your company, whatever you might do in the future. At least the information's out there for you to vet and make an informed decision. Live life like it's an epic adventure. We'll see you at the top.